Hey, and welcome to this week's Chamber Beat. I'm Ryan King, and thanks as always to our sponsors for the Chamber Update, LBMC and Baker Donaldson. You've been loyal to us through the years in sponsoring this Capital Update, so thank you again. Quick update on some bills that we gave you some information on last week. If you look down in this update in the Chamber Quick Hits, that's at the very bottom of the publication this week. You'll get an update on that, full comprehensive tracking of where those are this week and what happened to those last week. I know you'll be curious to hear more about those. So we're at a really interesting time, pivotal time in the session with committee closures. This is the point in the session when things really start to trickle downhill for the legislative session. Number of committee closures scheduled for next week. That's 8 in the House alone. Those are mostly subcommittees, and 3 to 4 scheduled in the Senate next week. And as a reminder, those are final calendars. Those aren't necessarily final meetings for those committees. 2 I will mention that are very important to us are the 2 commerce subcommittees. That's Banking and Consumer and Business and Utilities. Those are both scheduled to hear their final calendars next week. Again, we don't know, we don't think they'll be the final meetings of the year, but they'll definitely be the final calendars. We saw the first closure of the year over in the Senate actually yesterday. That was the Senate Energy and Agriculture Committee. They are closed for the rest of the year, subject, of course, to the call of Chairman Sutherland. Into some bill updates. I know everybody's really interested in some bill updates. We'll list 5 this week here on this beat, but again, a number of those on down in the update. If you really want to track what's going on comprehensively, look there. There's so much going on legislatively. We can't really pack it all in here. Number 1 I want to mention is Senate Bill 2406. That's House Bill 2153. That deals with computer science and requirements around computer science for high school students. So it's a bill that's chamber supported, brought by the administration. Last year we decided to support the legislation, and this session the governor decided he would actually have the bill introduced. It is a requirement that high school students take some computer science course before graduating high school, and that requirement will begin, if passed, in 2027. So we think obviously that's a minimum in the tech economy that we're really growing into here in Tennessee. Senate Bill 2698, House Bill 2770 is one that we haven't mentioned to you yet. It deals with custodial liability of businesses if they post no guns on the outside of their operation, their business. This would essentially make you, as a business, liable for any damages, injuries that occur as a result of someone coming in, harming an employee, harming a customer. The Chamber's opposed to that bill. We obviously think that posting requirements should be kept intact, and that a business, just by virtue of posting no guns on their property, shouldn't be held liable for injuries that occur to employees or customers. Another bill I think we're really excited about is House Bill 2263. I don't think we've had a chance to mention it to you yet. It deals with manufacturing and business taxes around manufacturing. As y'all know, manufacturers are exempt from the business tax in Tennessee until they start selling product from a second location, maybe a location that's a mile away, maybe where they're storing products. This bill would exempt that second location from the business tax. It's got some parameters around that. That bill is going to be in Revenue Subcommittee of the Senate next week. We'll see it on down the line over in the House here in the coming weeks. Senate Bill 2674, that's House Bill 2734, deals with paid time off and your requirement to give paid time off to elected officials. That's a bill the Chamber is talking with sponsors on and opposed to at this point. An elected official chooses to take office. just like they choose employment with an employer. And we think that it shouldn't be a mandatory component of employment that they have the ability to take off work paid, especially for official business. The last one I'll mention is something that we've dealt with now for a couple of years and you all have been very engaged with, and that's House Bill 1467. That's the bill that deals with data privacy. It's about 30 pages long. It is originated from a model out of California and has been adapted over the last year. Some other states have passed the legislation. We would be the fourth in the nation to pass the bill, creating a new data privacy regulatory scheme for businesses and how you must protect your data that you collect. That could be web traffic, it could be contacts on a contact list, it could be IP addresses, it could be a geofence, any number of things that you as a business would have and store. We have a number of concerns with the legislation as drafted. We've let sponsors know about those concerns, and at this point are opposed to the bill as drafted, even with the mandatory language. But again, working with sponsors have been wonderful to work with, although we're still not in a great posture on that. Look for that next week in the Banking and Consumer Affairs Subcommittee. It's also due up in the Senate Commerce Committee. We don't know that it'll get heard in either of those next week. Again, it's on those final calendars though. Long update this week. I think that's all we have. But please join us again next week. This is the Chamber Beat.